All right, guys. So I just want to. I know we've done this, but I just want to look over doing the layouts again, but maybe get a little bit more in depth since we're starting to develop these plans a little bit more, and we have a little more detail and so forth. Um, so we're ultimately going to be printing out a board. I haven't this. Our printer here can print 36 wide,
Yeah. And it can print 40.
and we have 24, right? So we can go 24 wide or 36 wide, and we can go as long as we want. Typically, maybe 24 at a certain length is going to be the cheaper way.
24 by 24 by 30.
6 on color, which we maybe don't even need. So it's $5 for 24 by 36. So if we did like 24 by 72, that'd be $10 for the plot. Not the end of the world. Okay. At least your 3D print might be free if we ever get it running.
Yeah, we were getting work on.
So we've been, you guys have been working, obviously, spending most of the time in 3D. We can look at Rachel's project here. And then starting to develop this in plan and maybe a little bit in section, understanding the stairs and so forth, how the floors come together. We now need to figure out how to get it out to 2D, right? So if we're working on sheets. And everybody should know how to do this, but let's just review this. So we can do a new, just keep that, new title block, right? And we can go new size. And then if we want to set up a sheet that's 24 by something, we can. Now, I know Joe is against new software. So we'll try to do it all in here. Now, some of it, once we export it out, we'll probably have to do some work in potentially an Illustrator. And 72 might be too big. So, we have, I think, horizontal, so that way we can pin up next to each other. And we're not taking up that much room. But we can adjust this. So maybe we'll start here. This does seem a little bit maybe long, but I'm a big fan of big views, like maybe a big view here, big view there, and drawing. So some type of clean layout. We're going to save this as a family. I'm just going to throw it on desktop right now. 24 by 72 layout. And again, I like loading that, so we'll close this. Sorry, we'll close it there. And if we come here, if we go to sheets, we want to actually, go to insert, load that. That way when we right click, new sheet, 24 by 72 layout appears. And this is where we start dumping these in, right? So we've done this in the past, but let's look at a couple things. Now the first thing we have to understand, we do have a lot of stuff on here, and we do have something to determine which is scale, right? So I think we can go to 1/4 inch at the least. And then we have to decide what we're showing. Now there's a lot of reference lines, and we can control this through VG, which is the visibility graphics. So let's first plop this in there and see what we're up against. And we can only have one level in at a time. So if I try to dump this and says, hey, this is somewhere else, it didn't say it, we can make a duplicate of the same layer, of the same view. So you're only allowed to place one view and one sheet at a time. The reason they have that is that you only want to place based on scale. It's very specific how we set up this view, and you only want to do that one time because one view might be at 1/4, the other might be at 1/8, and then you're competing and you're switching one, not realizing you're switching on another sheet. So that's why they've done that. So whatever modifications we do here won't affect the other view. So say we want level 1 to show somewhere else, we can duplicate that view and call it something else. Level 1, 1/4 inch scale or 1/8 inch scale or something. Yeah, like if you're doing something else with that. Now, if you see, as soon as I click in this window, we get all the sort of properties here. These are where the VG, the visibility graphics are. And we can, we can go to our annotations. We can turn all our annotations off and hit apply, and we'll see what that looks like. So we just get true sort of floor plans. I'm a big fan of keeping it fairly clean. Of course, we probably want to show section lines and where things are being cut. And we might want to have certain annotations, so turning them all off might not be the right thing. So if we go back to VG, we can turn those back all on, and then we can come in and turn off ones specific, right? We can also go to model categories and turn off specific model categories. We don't really have any analytical. We don't have an imported like AutoCAD or anything. So here we have, well, those are, if we turn off our lines, those there, and then I turn back on the annotation stuff. So you're like really clean it up. So that's taking off the model lines and the all annotation. Now you probably don't want to turn off. Maybe, you know what? Again, I'm a big fan of keeping it very like that. The design looks better already. Because we can read the walls, we can read the rooms. I don't think we have to get. I mean, yeah, we can. That's where I like going. This is where I like going to Illustrator and adding. If we add bedroom, like really controlling the fonts and what's happening. We can do it all in Revit. I know, Joe, we can do it all in Revit.
No. I'm fine with it.
But just, I think you start to get a little bit different. Yeah, I mean, this looks a little bit more. I mean, this is what you want in your portfolio. At the most. Like we're talking at the most. Now we can start getting really fancy. Like if we went back here and say we can start turning on some shadows. I gotta figure out, it's been a while since I've been able to get the shadows to work and plan. And that one's below grade there. Yeah, I guess below grade is the option. But we should still be able to get shadows down there because we're cutting off the top. But if we want, we can start adding stuff like this, like in the sense of shadows. The problem is, as soon as we add any type of shadow, it becomes a raster. It's not vector line work anymore. Yeah, so the resolution becomes an issue. Now the work around that is you layer both. You slip the raster underneath the vector. But that's for people that have way too much free time. Like maybe like me. Single day. This is where we can set our location, but we can do summer solstice, so our shadows aren't as intense. And again, yeah, turning off our model lines. So we get a real nice clean. It's no big deal that it's raster. It's not the end of the world. So this was at 1/8 inch. So we can change that here to 1/4 inch. and start laying it out. So this is, again, I'm really a big fan. And then we can add our titles here. Again, we can do that.
I have no problem with doing
Okay.
it in the program.
Yeah.
It's
It-
just like, redrawing something in the program.
Yeah, it's not a bad. It's just there's we can add annotations here. Don't get me wrong. We can sit here, and come in here and add text. But there's something about doing it like in a layout software versus doing it in here. So again, Rachel has already sections through here. So sections work very similar the same way. How many people were able to cut sections to your project? Yeah, everybody understands how to do sections, so it's fairly easy. I think we've gone through it a couple times, but if you're in one of your plans, we can just go to architecture, view, section, and we can cut a section. And then we can manipulate, in this case, which way we're looking, if we're looking that way. So that's our section now, so maybe we start to read the courtyard.
You could save a section view from the section box.
Section box.
When you do the section box and you move it to.
Sure, oh yeah, we can do that. Yeah, I'll show you that. Yeah. So we can add some detail in this, so when we have it at the appropriate scale. And again, we can do a lot of the same VG, turn off the annotations. It's just easier than probably going in and try to customize all the annotations, because in the end the project's more about the project. Next week we'll talk about like customizing the line types. So we can come in and customize all the different line characteristics, basically on the cut and so forth. But typically we don't have to mess with it, but it's good to know how to sort of manipulate it. I'm sorry, I don't know what this is. No. So we can take, this and dump it into our sheet. Change the scale. You'll see, it'll be quite tight to get everything on here. Especially if we're trying to keep everything at 1/4 inch. I think 1/4 inch is going to look the best. The other thing we need to think about, especially once so sometimes we want our model lines because we want to draw lines over this. So we don't have a ground plane, right, Rachel? You haven't modeled any landscape, yeah. So if we add that, it'll appear, and it'll typically appear as an earth section. Yeah, if we start drawing sort of our detail, we won't see any of this right now because we have all our lines. So sometimes we have to go back and clean up the drawings. But I think it's important if you guys can start thinking about the layout, see where you're at. We can also add shadows. This gets a little trickier in a sectional view, especially if you're trying to set up that didn't work out at all. So again, so it's almost you need to know where the sun's coming from and then rig it to be in the best position. So if we look at our so we're here. Let's look at a 3D view. Sorry. Just leave it with the current. So I didn't cut the best. What's that?
The sun's so high overhead.
Yeah, especially looking north. Yeah, I know. Uh, maybe better sunset. Hold on. She got more. I don't know where it is, but it's probably too far. Put it by Brazil or something.
Okay.
No, it's probably Boston, the default. Oh, maybe that's too low. Yeah. Sorry, let me get this set up right. Get in the right view. That didn't do me any good. There we go. If you want to start getting some... But again, looking north might be problematic. So something, depending on how you're cutting this. The view that Evelyn was talking about, we can do it potentially in a 3D view. We can also make a new camera. But we have what's called a section box. And what I can do is cut a section do the project through a 3D camera. Go with that. It's fine. And if we place this, so I think it'll be, depending on everybody's project, each project will be a little bit different. So we can see it's already been placed. So we can go ahead and duplicate that. And we can rename it or not rename it. And then it'll drop. And we can change the scale, although it's, it's a 3D camera. It really doesn't have scale, but we can get it to a 1/4 inch. And get it on our sheet. Now, because again we have shadows on, we take it away from being a vector to to becoming a raster. But as soon as we turn it off, it'll print properly. The next most confusing thing is to get the cropping to work. So if we crop this 24 by 24, so that's like, say, our size. We can even crop it through an activate view. Just you just make another camera, and we can manipulate the camera. No, I'm trying to remember. We have to turn off the section box in VG. So all the annotation stuff is off, but so after we have the section box, if we type in VG or go to the annotation, I'm trying to remember if it's just here, I think. Yeah, that turns it off. So you just go under VG annotation, section box off.
But it'll keep the view.
Don't turn it off here, that will turn off the view. So you gotta turn it off under annotation. And again, until you get into this, we can talk about it all day. You gotta, like what I just did here seems fairly straightforward, but it's not as straightforward as you think. So we have this, and then yeah, if you wanted to make another so I mean, you have a lot of camera views.
Well, a lot of them are, I didn't do it properly, so I don't know that any of them are actually going to show something different.
So if you come here and you go to view, we can make a camera. Like this will always just go to the default, and we can duplicate it, but there's always just one default. So if we go, I like to go to a plan, camera, we place it, we look, there it is. It doesn't act exactly the same way as that 3D view does, though. In the sense, but
Don't you think it's true perspective?
this is a perspective, yeah, and this is a 3-point perspective. And we can move around where we're looking and so forth. And what we can do is, if we come here to that camera, which is view 2, if I right click and say show camera, it's going to appear. So now I can see sort of, this is my clipping plane. This is where, if for some reason, if your project is disappearing, you got to make, because it's, well, it doesn't like that. So I can adjust that. So I'm looking at the project. And again, this is one where we can, ultimately even render. That's why I think some of the views will render and place into Illustrator, and we got to be careful because the render engine in Revit is not that great. I almost prefer not rendering it. Yeah, we won't get into 3ds Max, but no. You guys got to take my 174. Um, yeah, I almost prefer you guys not rendering it and just showing it as line geometry. But once we're done, we can export this out as a PDF or print it as a PDF. So we go to print, and Adobe PDF, and hopefully all these computers have it. And then we go to selected views, sheets. We just turn off views, and we know we just want to plot that sheet. Hit OK. Can say no to that. And then our there's a lot of buttons here. It's like setting up the launch codes for the Death Star, but so I'm making a custom 24 by 72. Otherwise, I'll put it on 8 by 11. You'll be like, I just put it into the plotter and it's coming out 8 by 11. So you need to set up the PostScript custom, and we can go to OK. And then if we hit OK, it should print out the same size. Now it warns us that we have some shadows that's going to get rasterized. And then I'll just throw this on your desktop. Should open up as a PDF. So this should be the right size if we did everything correctly. So I like opening up in Illustrator now. I don't know what's having a problem with that. So if we go into Illustrator, sorry, I got to open it on your computer. It's always confusing. What computer am I on here? Where am I? There you are. Illustrator. Finding some pocket doors? No, yeah, it's sometimes hard. So it looks like it went sideways, which is normal. But you can see, like it is a little bit pixelated. Not too bad though. Alright. So get this far, we'll get into like more Illustrator stuff. Like start doing the layout in Revit. Again, really keep it. Yeah. No, I mean, you're looking for, it would be nice to have all the plans. Maybe all the plans don't need to be 1/4 inch. Some can be 8 inch, but maybe like key elevations, maybe not all the elevations. But I think it's good to have maybe an interior view if it looks good, exterior. Okay. So we need to start getting there. And the next thing is, hopefully, I think I hear John. We need to get the 3D printing hopefully going, so we want to make these little models, have this board, and so that's for like the final, which is December 11th, right? December 11th, so a month from today.
That's when the finals day?
Yeah. That's finals week, December 11th. Our last class is December 11th. Okay, guys? All right, I'm going to stop there. I'm going to upload this.